Dad, every time I would visit you in the home, before I would leave, I would say, Dad, I'll be back. Will you wait for me? And you always said yes. But when I was here last, some weeks ago, I couldn't bring myself to ask you the question. I had this sense of impending gloom that in leaving, I would be seeing you for the last time. And it was. And I knew, Dad, that I would never see you again alive. And so it was, and here we are, Leslie, Howie, Ira, and me. And I guess in a certain sense, Sandy's soul as well. Many of Dad's 18 grandchildren, even some of Mom and Dad's 38 10-year-good great-grandchildren, nieces, some nieces and nephews. It's hard for people to come out on their Shabbos. But they're here. I look around and I note with some sadness that so many people are not here. Aunt Rose and Uncle Mike, Uncle Sean, Uncle Daniel, Aunt Evelyn, Aunt Shirley, Uncle Louie, Aunt Gray, Uncle Herman, and so many of Dad's friends who are no longer here. They're all gone. Mom and Dad, are they the last? Is this the end of an era? I want to begin by acknowledging something right at the outset. Mom and Tibodel Chaim Aruchim Mom would never have been with us so long were it not for the loving and devoted care and many sacrifices that were made by Howie and Carol in Florida, and later Leslie and Ephraim here in New Jersey, over these many, many years. Ira and I would make it in from time to time, and Mom and Dad would occasionally visit us in St. Louis, but it was really Howie and Carol, Leslie and Ephraim, especially Leslie, who in the end showed Dad, and still Mom, the uncommon, non-stop, loving attention that only a daughter can shower upon parents. To all of them, they deserve our undying and lasting gratitude. And Howie and Jenna, how difficult and painful it must have been for you to have been there at the end. But know that you had the incredible zchus, the great privilege to escort Dad's holy neshama on its spiritual journey upwards. This is something that you'll never, ever forget. So who was Dad? Well, he was many things to each of us, and we all have our stories to tell. But I hope that what I'm about to say will serve as a framework of sorts into which each of us can place our own precious memories of him. So who was Dad? He was a man bigger than life, strong, confident, generous, and heroic. And what we owe Dad are all the memories, all the lessons he taught us. And you'll ask me, what did he teach us? Everything. Just about everything. In the Gemara in Noe Cotton, we're told that an Ovel is forbidden to learn Torah. Why? B'kudei Hashem, the Samchei Lev. We're not supposed to be happy, and the learning of Torah generates happiness. My Rebbe, Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal, offered another reason. When a loved one passes away, it's not the formal teaching of Torah that we miss. That we can always glean from books. There is another method of learning, another dimension of transmission, and that by watching and observing the behavior of a great person. It's in the teaching without words. It's the profound experience that we often fail to appreciate at the moment when we're in the presence of someone like that. But upon reflection, whose deeds over time powerfully impact us more than books ever can. And that was Dad. He taught us by who he was. Who was he really? What was the essence of his neshama? In this week's parsha, tomorrow, Bnei Yisrael, upon hearing the bris, the covenant, responded Nasiv and Ishma. The Midrash tells us that Hashem revealed his Devar Hashem, his word, to Bnei Yisrael. When he did that, he spoke to the souls of each and every one of us in our own uniqueness. What does it mean he spoke to the souls of each and every one of us? What does soul mean in that context anyway? Our neshama is what we are meant to be, our potential, our ultimate mission in life. It defines us, not so much by where we're at now, but rather where we will be, where we hope to be. Nasiv and Ishma was our way of telling Hashem that we accept the challenge of our own destiny. And how do we know whether we succeed? We don't. Hashem knows. But when we reflect upon the life of another, especially when they're gone, then we're able to see something remarkable emerge, something amazing, a special attribute, some inspiring characteristic that at once suddenly seizes us, surprises us, and then we finally get it. My one word for Dad, that special something which defined him, at least for me, the essence of his neshama was gevura. What is gevura? Call it strength, perseverance, courage, a toughness. Could it be the ability to rise up when knocked down? Could it be the sheer determination, the resoluteness to overcome the often harsh knocks of life? In a word, Dad was our hero. He was a heroic fighter, and because of him, we, his children, and through us, our children and theirs, because of Dad, we're all winners. And so I want to share with you some snapshots, brief though they be. Cannot say everything. Snapshots of Dad's gevura. Because even though he's no longer here, his life teaches still. Dad had a common sense wisdom, born of experience acquired the hard way. He was born in Poland in 1918, arriving in New York in the 20s. Dad grew up in a tough neighborhood. But Dad became an entrepreneur of the old school, hard work, making do with little, while burdening with many responsibilities, and yet boldly forging ahead. To put it simply, it took gevura to do what he did, And he did. It began when Dad's father, Yoshua David, died at a young age. And what was thrust upon our father was the responsibility of assuming the financial burden of caring for his mother and 3 siblings. No college education, no advanced degrees. Dad hit the streets and made sure his family was provided for. During the Depression, Dad often held down 3 jobs, working day and night. And then he married Mom, World War II in the Army, and then he successfully started his own business. Amazing when you think about it. What gevura. Dad had enormous respect and reverence for his in-laws, and of course his mother. He treated Bobby and Zaida with a touching and profound love. Whatever they asked, Dad dutifully complied. And should you wonder why someone who lives 92 years deserves it? It was how beautifully Dad fulfilled the mitzvah of Kippur Va'ed, whose reward, as we well know, is Laman Yarichon Yamecha. Long life comes because a person knows how to respect their parents. And one more thing. Because of Dad's veneration of Bobby in particular, the entire family remained loyal to Yiddishkeit. That's a story in itself. Dad's gevura also displayed itself in his willingness to break old habits, discard what he often liked, and to really change. Over the years, he slowly notched himself upward to a Torah lifestyle that transformed him into a Shomer Shabbos, and that inspired us all. I can remember, and there are so many of these vignettes, I can remember once Dad playing cards on Shabbos at our summer bungalow colony in the Catskills, and I, all of 14 years old, had the temerity to tell him it was wrong and he should stop. Well, Dad gave me one of those stern looks, and he was quiet. But he never played cards again on Shabbos.